Today I want to talk about SpaceX Starship SN9 test flight, and sort of the problems surrounding the projects in general. Not necessarily like technical problems, those two, but also like political problems that they are now facing, unfortunately. So first of all, the FAA sort of delayed the launch several times. So they didn't give them permission to launch, basically, for several days, and that's kind of weird in itself. I mean, maybe they had like some safety concerns and stuff like that, but I don't understand why they delayed it, because they didn't delay the earlier flight. So that was odd in itself. So that's related to the political troubles. I'll talk about it after I go through what happened to the SN9 once it did get to do the test flight. So first of all, the launch procedures. I think SpaceX has like a great handle on that because they went really well. The fueling and stuff like that, and then once there was the launch was perfect, and nothing wrong with that. Then the flight was great. It flew to the correct height, to 10 kilometers, etc. And then the descent, it was extremely stable outright to descend, and then there was the belly flop maneuver, and that went well as well. So basically, this is like 90% of your checklist is done now, and then there was the trouble. So once the landing started, I think one of the engines didn't fire. So there was like an engine failure. I don't know. I think it fired, but there was like a delay or something. But anyway, that's the same as it failing, because on a space vehicle like this, if it doesn't fire at the right time, it's useless. So so the landing didn't go well. It didn't come in at the right angle. It didn't come in with the right speed, etc. And because of that, there was like this big explosion, which was, it was fun to watch, but it was disappointing because I think people have been sort of have a lot of expectations for this project, because this is the sort of how should I say this, moon landing type of stuff. So it's like the sort of thing that you're definitely gonna read about in history books one day, assuming the political problems don't sink the project. So yeah. But before those, let's talk about the next Starship. So they have already been preparing this next Starship model, the SN9, SN10, which is, first there was SN8, which managed to do the belly up, but it failed to launch, it failed to landing, and then there was SN9, which also managed all of that very beautifully, but also failed to landing in a bit different way. And now there's the Starship SN10, and hopefully now it will manage to do the whole procedure, the whole checklist, and everything will be correctly done. Hopefully, because that would be like a huge. Even if there's like a small problem with the ship afterwards, as long as it manages to complete the checklist, it will be like a. It will be like a. If you're looking at the live stream, for example, when that happens, that will be like that's history in the making. Like literally, if you make like a comment on YouTube on one of those streams, someone like 200 years from now might be like watching the replay of that and reading your comment and stuff like that. So it will definitely be one for the history books once the whole checklist is completed. Because even now these like test flights are. A lot of people are watching them because they realize that this is like a huge thing if we have this type of Starship which can complete the whole the whole procedure of like basically flying to space and then re-entering the atmosphere and then being able to, you know, remain in one piece and have a controlled landing. And rather than have, you know, at a certain spot, etc. So this type of project, I think, is like the sort of project that that happens only like at when a certain threshold of technology has been reached. So that's why a lot of people are sort of looking forward to these launches, and they're looking forward to basically they want to see it succeed, because they know that it'll be like it'll be just, you know, it'll be, you know, another page in the history book, and because of its significance of basically, you know, making this type of space travel, I guess, you know possible. And then SN10 now. SN10 was on the launch platform close to the SN9. So it's definitely it'll be the next flight, and I'm looking forward to it, of course. But now let's talk about the political trouble a little bit, because so first of all, there was the FAA blocking the launch for a couple of days, and that in itself was, maybe that's not really out of the ordinary, because, you know, the FAA has like a broader view and broader view of the situation, and maybe they had some concerns, whatever they might have been. But it did sort of stink of like political, political interference in the project. And then there was the next thing now with SpaceX hiring practices. So the Department of Justice has like started to crack down on SpaceX because they are alleged of like discriminatory hiring practices or something like that. This is political interference. Like now that you put the FAA decisions in context, we can see that there is a pattern of political interference in the project. So obviously, well, I don't say obviously, but what I think the reason for that is that of course Elon Musk is very outspoken, and he's probably he can be like described as a very sort of a controversial person. He puts out his thoughts, and they might not always be what the other people in the American power structure like sort of appreciate. So and this now the new administration in the United States, the Biden administration, is they sort of came in saying, oh, we'll follow the science and regarding health matters and stuff like that. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, and now it looks like they're sort of interfering in the sort of what can be described as the sort of biggest science project of our time at the moment. Now you might want to debate that or something, but this is definitely the one that the public is sort of paying attention to. That because of the sort of I guess like people are a bit like I would say underwhelmed by what has been achieved in spaceflight in since like even for like decades back now. People have been underwhelmed. They thought that there would be like a viable way to travel in space, and basically there hasn't been. There's been like these single missions by these large agencies like NASA and stuff, but generally speaking, space travel hasn't been possible, generally speaking, and this is the thing that can sort of change that. So of course, when there is this type of political interference in that, the sort of expert community as well as just the public that's sort of following this are kind of upset over it, because if and for a good reason, because like the Biden administration is going to be like a footnote on page 97 of a history book, so, oh, there was this kind of thing. But if they sort of torpedo this project, or if they even manage to delay it, and which they already in a way have, that's going to be a huge problem, because this is the sort of, again, this is the sort of like I before I compared it to the moon landing, and that's the type of project that this is, and of course I really hope that the project succeeds, and I hope that there's like other forces in the United States that are working, that are sort of putting pressure on the government to not engage in this type of political harassment of a sort of a cutting edge scientific project. And if they do continue to harass SpaceX, then I fear for the project in general. I think the next launch will go forward, well, assuming the FAA lets them launch, but I don't know about the future. And again, if they're like cracking down on the company because of like some vague hiring practices concerns, then I don't know how viable it is then in the long term. How viable the project are going to be in the long term if they have to like fight the Department of Justice in court like all day long. And what it seems to me is that the new administration in the US is like they want to interfere with this project. And the thing is, this project is much more important than any administration. So that's why I worry, and I definitely hope that they don't succeed. And I hope that other forces in the United States are putting pressure on the government to not do this. So let's see what happens.